I think it's really intuition, because for entrepreneur, right, it's really just intuition. You just feel so passionate, about it. And for entrepreneur, I think a lot of entrepreneurs are like me. We will spend our last dollar,
Right.
just to like make the idea work.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So when
your
there's
conviction
no
to
turning
go
point,
digital was so strong.
yes, yeah. For me, I believe there's no turning point, because if let's say if there's always a safety net or turning point, right, it's very difficult for you to move, forward. Yeah. So for me, I don't have a safety net. I just have to make it work.
Welcome to CEOs Confess. We have an entrepreneur who's been in the same industry for about 25 years and has been the leader for all three of the companies that she's been at. And along the way, she's won the Entrepreneur of the Year award. She's won the CEO of the Year award. So the list of accolades here continue to go along, and I think we'd be here all day if I read it all out. So, but let's not go there, right? I want to welcome you all. Annie Yap from AYP Group. Welcome to CEOs Confess.
Hello. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me here to share.
No, thank you. Thank you
My
for
honor.
coming on board and sharing your story with the audience, right? I can't wait to hear the story from your point of view as well. And I know it spans a few decades, which is perfectly fine. But let's start from the beginning, right? Tell me more about what was it like growing up, your education. Were you always groomed from the beginning to be like a boss lady?
Not really. I think when I was young, I'm born to a family of like 5 of us. So my parents, and I have 2 younger brothers. So my father, he was from China. So he came to Singapore at a very young age.
Right.
So, go through a very tough hardship, of a lifestyle. And then he retired as a coffee shop owner. So throughout the life, I have been like helping out, in his coffee shop. And my mom is a full-time housewife.
Right.
Yeah. So because of the influence of my dad, I wanted to like run my own business as well.
I see.
Yeah, but I dare not tell him, because for him, he felt that, I go to university, he spent so much money for me to study, and why should I go into, business? Because he felt that business is a lot of hardship.
A lot of hardship.
Yeah.
Right. So what did they want you to do?
They wanted me to be maybe like work for the government, which is a very safe job, or work for a bank. Yeah,
Yes.
I graduated with a bank finance degree.
Okay.
So 99% of my classmates, end up in a bank.
Right.
Yeah. So for
Like
me,
everyone else here.
Yeah. I know one thing, I wouldn't want to work in the finance industry. Yeah, but little do I know that I actually end up in the HR industry. Yeah, I never thought that I will be in HR.
Right. And
Yeah.
how did that actually come about?
Okay, so after graduating, I actually start my own business.
Okay.
I start a small recruitment cum tuition agency. So as a fresh graduate, so I don't know, I don't have working experience, so I thought like tuition agency is something that I could do, because I was a tuition teacher before during vacation.
Okay, yes,
So I
yes.
started that with another friend from the university.
Yep.
So 2 of us, we put in a couple of $1,000s, and then we started this. And for 6 months, the business really didn't work out. So the key business lesson that I had is really you need to choose your partner very carefully. So if the partners, don't have like the synergy, it's very difficult, to work together. So we agreed to part our ways, So at that point in time, it was difficult, because like most of the classmates has already found a job. So I haven't. So I went to a recruitment agency called GMP to look for a job.
Right.
Yeah. So when I stepped into GMP, so I was thinking maybe I should get some experience, from a recruitment company first.
Right.
Then I probably will start my business later.
So you said you started tuition company because that was what you were doing, teaching students during vacation and things like that.
Yes.
Then you went into recruitment, right?
Yeah.
And you did that with a friend of yours from college as well,
yes,
right?
Yes, that's right.
And then you said that, you said that didn't work out. How long did that last?
6 months.
6 months only?
That joint venture. Yeah, 6 months.
Wow. Okay. And you said
it's because I think there's a clashes in terms of like our personality, and we have no experience. Yeah.
Right.
So we didn't know that as partners, it's very important that you need to give and take, and you need to really like leverage on each other's strengths.
Right.
Yeah. So we do the same thing together, and we have
see.
like differences in opinions, and we don't know how to like resolute, the conflict.
Right. So instead of like dividing different tasks, you were both doing the same thing, and you had different point of views.
So there's a big time clash. So I thought like, it's better that we part our ways, and for me to get more experience in business before I start my business again.
Yeah. Okay. And so then you said you went into GMP.
Yes, I went to GMP.
And when was this? What year ago was this?
That was in 1994.
Okay.
Yeah, actually I completed interview on 1993 December. Then I thought like, to start on the first day. So I started on the first day of 1994.
Right. First day of 1994. And, what was that like, going, you had the passion, I guess, the dream to go into business.
Yep.
It didn't work out after 6 months. You must have took a bit of a hit to the confidence. But then you went back to the workforce, like, to get some experience. What was that experience like?
So, actually, I spent 15 years there. So it's my like one and only career in my whole life. Yeah. So, I really didn't know that I would spend 15 years. So I thought like maybe I would spend like the most 5 years, and then after that I will start my own business again. Yeah, but
then, so hang on. You said that you did tuition, went into recruitment, and then you decided that you would go back into recruitment to learn from someone. Why didn't you actually think about changing to something else? Why did you want to stick with recruitment?
I think,
and for the next 15 years as
well. When I start on my own, I didn't really understand what is recruitment all about. But when I stepped into a recruitment company, then I realized that this is a very impactful career, because it really helped people to find jobs. Because a lot of people spend like at least 8 hours a day, which is 1/3 of their life working. So if it's like they are not in the right place, in the right time, it's going to be very torturous. And, the career will bring satisfaction, bring back the bread, to the family and all this. So we find that helping people to find a dream job is very meaningful, and helping companies to find the right talent is also very meaningful, because the right talent will help the company, to be profitable and bring the company to the next level. So I find that recruitment is actually a very, very is really a career that can really impact lives.
I see. And was it what you were expecting though, or did you it was like a bit of luck that you kind of fell into this?
I actually I didn't expect it. But when I get into it, then I realized that hey, this is really very impactful. Gives me a lot of satisfaction to be a good recruiter.
Yeah. Okay. And then so you spent 15 years there, right? Like I'm sure I don't think many people go into a particular role expecting to spend 15 years there. What made you really stick around for that long?
Yep, I think one main factor is really my mentor, the late founder, of the company. Yeah, so she's the one that really recruited me and then groomed me, to who I am even today. So other than recruitment, she really taught me everything about running business, managing people, managing finances of the business and everything. Yeah, so she's more than a boss, to me. She's like my mentor. She's like my godmom, Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She was your godmom before that?
Actually, when she contracted cancer, so she told me for me to run a good role as a CEO of the company, she wanted to have that relationship, like she she got me to be her goddaughter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so she
yeah.
was like, you're basically family now.
Yes.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time together. We travel, the world together because we're one of the pioneer that actually recruited a lot of foreign talents, into Singapore, because that time Singapore has a huge shortage of like people for the manufacturing, for the shipyard, for all these F&B industries.
So the foreign worker quota.
Yes, at that point in time, really, I mean, the Singapore is basically built up by the foreign workforce. Yeah, very much.
Yeah. Okay. And you said so when she decided that she wanted you to be CEO, she started to groom you. You became her goddaughter. How long was that? Were you at the company for already?
Oh, okay. So I joined in 1994, right? So about 1998. Yeah, she contracted cancer. So about that time, she made me from like a GM, and I rose to be an MD. Yeah, and when she passed on, I was the CEO.
So within
About
4 years,
3-4 years.
you were GM and then being groomed to be CEO already.
Yes, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because that time I actually was she was pretty ill, so she couldn't really continue the business actively. So she was kind of like behind the scene. Yeah, so I have to like kind of like overnight grown up.
Yeah.
To really run the business and that time also coupled with like 1998, right, was the Asian financial crisis.
Yeah,
and it really hit Singapore. A lot of companies are retrenching people.
Yeah.
So that was the first time that I get into like a recession. Yeah, and
I mean, it sounds like it would have been a very, very difficult time, right? Like your mentor, your
Yes.
godmother,
Yep.
the looming bust of the economy, all of this crashing down. Like, what was going through your mind?
I think at that point in time is like, when it was difficult, but I know I have all her support. She's a very, very, very extremely supportive mentor, and also my team. Yeah, at that point in time, everyone really stood by me.
Yeah.
To go through that together. So for us, we just like take one thing at a time, one day at a time.
And do you think your career, 25 years now, would have been very different if you didn't have that mentor there to help?
Definitely, it would be like totally different. Totally different.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, then how important is it, do you think, to have a mentor?
9.
9? Pretty
yeah,
high. Why
9.
not 10?
Why not 10, is it? Yeah, it could be even 10. Yeah, it could be even 10. I find that it's extremely important, and I find that I'm really blessed, to really chance upon her, because I remember when I first joined, right, she told me at that point she just had this idea of like recruiting 3 fresh graduates. Yeah, because before that, no recruiter has a degree. Every recruiter has like a diploma or A levels or O levels at that point, 1993, 94 period. Yeah, because recruitment is not like a very high regarded career at that point. Yeah. So but she wanted to have like 3 fresh graduates because she has this mindset. She says that I must have someone that's better than me. Yeah. So that the company can continue to grow.
Yeah.
So she always tell me, she said, Annie, don't be afraid to hire someone that's more talented than you. Better than you.
Yeah.
So that if you hire the person, you can actually be elevated. You can grow to the next level.
Yeah. I think that's a
So,
really, really important point. I mean, the concept that I heard of was like the little Russian dolls, right?
Yeah.
Like you always have one that's bigger and
Yes.
bigger and bigger, and you slowly take yourself out of the picture, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So you learned that many, many years ago. I only heard about it like a couple of years ago. So, and I know you mentioned that your mentor has had such a strong impact on you that you feel like some of the lessons that you learned from her are still with you today.
Yes.
What are some of these lessons? I guess it's almost timeless, right? It's been almost 20 odd years. What are some of these lessons?
So one very, very clear lesson, or until today, I remember one very strong point is that she says that when you make a decision, you have to use your brain. When you execute it, you execute with your heart.
All right. Okay. Wow.
So I find, wow, that is really very profound. Yeah, because a lot of time, if you make the decision based on emotions,
Yes.
and then it's not going to work. Yeah, but if you, or on the other hand, if you were to execute it using your brain, it's going to tear the relationship and make the matter worse. Yeah, so I find that even until today, right, it's really timeless. I still apply it in my business.
Every day.
Every day, every day.
Yeah, and this is something that you share with your team as well, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And now to all the audience here
Yes,
as well.
I mean, it's very simple, but yet, it's very powerful.
Yeah, okay. And, while all this was happening, I know you mentioned your mentor, she had cancer and she eventually passed away. This was still obviously quite early on in your career, and you were promoted to CEO from GM to CEO quite quickly. Were there other people around you who had maybe been in the company for longer who weren't happy about it? Like,
Yes.
how many arrows did you have?
Yes. So when I was just promoted to be the GM,
Yeah.
so that time, what happened was that there were about 7 other person that report directly to my boss.
Yeah.
From like HR to finance to like other country manager, other business unit manager, when she made me the GM, all of them, other than one person, one by one, and I'll go and tell her, can we don't report to Annie?
Wow.
Yeah. So she prepared me, she told me, she said, Annie, just be patient. I know this is not this is quite hurting to you, but just be patient. So, but I do remember I told her something. I said that Giam, her name is Giam. So I said, don't worry, respect, need to be earned.
Yep.
Yeah, trust need to be earned. I will prove myself. Yeah, so I worked hard to prove myself, and then all of them, start to respect me and, willing to report to me.
Yeah. And I mean, you must have been pretty young still, right? For them
Oh, yeah.
to, like, you were many,
mid-20s. Yeah, a lot of them are 30s. Yeah, yeah, at that point.
I can't imagine being a CEO in my mid-20s. I'm pretty sure I was still just partying or something like that. So when you became the CEO and they started, reporting to you and they were happy to do so, what were some of the things or some of the plans that you had for the company? Like, what was your plan to kind of take this company to the next step? Were you there to execute what your mentor had in plan for you already, or did you really start to spread your wings and like I need to do this, or these are my plans?
Okay, yeah. When I was taking over my mentor, a lot of time we were focused a lot in overseas recruitment. So because that one was the opportunity, that time Singapore was opening up and all this, right? So, but I felt that business is not so scalable, and it's, I mean, I won't say not scalable, but it's not a long-term business because as a country, right, you cannot be having like foreign workers forever, and we are so small. So I kind of like divert, to what we call it contracting business, which is like contingent workforce, because that is also quite new at that point in time. A lot of companies are hiring people on permanent basis.
Right.
So not many companies are outsourcing, but we start to, talk to like American companies. American companies are usually like very forward thinking. They always have this like contract outsourcing kind of mindset. So I start to talk to them, and slowly, we get into like we are one of the master vendor for a very big MNC. During then on contract workers, we have like about 2,000 contract workers at one time, just under one company.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's how we really scale.
Right, just through the contract workers. So
Yes.
at that time when you took over, what was the annual turnover of the company?
About 10
About 10 million.
Yeah.
And then I guess by the time you left,
Yeah.
what was the company
100
doing?
million.
10x.
Yeah, 10x. Yeah.
And all through scaling with these
Yes,
contract workers?
scaling through contract workers. Yeah, mainly contract workers.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were how old by then? Quite probably still under your 30.
28, 28, 30, around there.
Wow, CEO of a $100 million company by 28. That's I mean, nowadays, I mean, that's quite common
that's
with the
quite
tech
common.
companies, and stuff like that. But back then,
Yeah.
probably very unheard of.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
And how did that make you feel? Like, were people asking how did it happen? Were people trying to poach you to go to work with their companies?
Yes, yeah, very much. I was being approached. So, but every time when I was being approached, right, I will not entertain. Yeah, because I find that if you were to start to entertain, because some of the people they may have this mindset, it's okay, to entertain such thoughts. But little will you know that if you start to entertain, you might, eventually leave the organization. Right. So for me, I'm so loyal and I'm so focused, faithful, on this company. So every time I got this kind of call, I do not entertain at all. Yeah. So that I can stay very, very focused.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so when you were expanding with these contract workers, that wasn't all in Singapore. Was it all in Singapore?
Mainly in Singapore, but we do have operations in Thailand, in Malaysia, in Hong Kong, in China.
Okay. And what made you go out to those countries?
Yeah, I find that Singapore is very small.
Yeah.
And if I don't grow, in terms of whether geographical or the business, my people cannot grow. So I've always have this growth mindset, in me. From day one, when I start my own, even my current business. So I have always want to grow.
And like to grow. That for you as the CEO of the business, that meant going overseas. And how did you start like going out to these different countries?
Okay. So in GMP days, the first one we start was in Malaysia.
Okay.
So I remembered my boss then asked me to do a feasibility studies. So I went there, to check it out, the employment landscape, the rental, the business costs. And then when I come back, I will just do up a business plan for her.
I see.
Yeah.
So you did a feasibility study.
Yes,
and
correct.
Is that still something that you do right now? Like if you wanted to go to expand to another country?
Yes, we do. We do. Yes, now we still do. Yeah, but it's just that we typically now don't do organic growth, anymore. Yeah, so right now, we are looking into acquisition. We find that it's actually a faster way of growing.
Right.
But of course, when we were smaller, we organically grow. I think now we are in 7 countries, out of which, right, three are organic growth. The other 4 are through acquisition.
Through acquisitions, Okay. Yeah. So this was by then, by the end of GMP, what year was that? That was like 2000 and...
2008. I finished everything on the last day, and then I started.
And so by 2008, $100 million company. Indulge me for a second here. What were some of the perks that you had as the CEO of 100 million?
Okay. I have 2 PAs. Okay. Then I was driving a 7 Series, fully paid for. Everywhere I go, I was on business class.
Wow.
Yeah, and of course, like a very, very high salary, very high profit sharing.
Yeah. Nice. Something to look forward to. But obviously, my understanding is at that time, not everyone was that happy about it, right? Tell me about what happened, towards the end of GMP.
Oh, okay. So my founder passed away, right, in 2001, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So we lost her to cancer. So and then but at her deathbed, I gave her the commitment that I'll continue the business for her. So I continued to to run the business for a couple of years. So and we won several awards in the midst. And then after which my founder's husband, it's like I think he is. He wants to participate more and more into the business. So and then at that point in time, 2008, the thought about starting my business, fulfilling my childhood dream came back. So I made up that mind to leave and start my own business.
And was it at that time you said he wanted to get more involved? How did that make you feel? Because you had already been running it successfully
Yes.
for quite a while, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how did that make
Yeah.
you feel when he said, like, I want you to do this, or what actually happened?
Yeah. So it made me feel like, the same when I started my own first business, like, when two partners doesn't see eye to eye. So it's very difficult, to kind of like work together.
Right.
Yeah. And for me, I really value a lot in terms of like freedom, to make decision. Yeah. And he is very conservative. I'm very expansionary and very growth minded.
Yes.
So this is really two different school of thoughts already.
Right.
Yeah. So it's very conflicting. Yeah, in terms of the direction.
And then what was the final straw for you to, make the decision to leave?
So the final straw was in a church service, in September, 2008. My pastor, Pastor Prince, preached about a story, preached about the message on recession. Yeah. So, and that year was recession.
Right.
So, and I was holding on to the Apple phone, and in the app, the dictionary app, I was so shocked. The first meaning of recession is actually is the decline of the economy.
Yeah.
The second meaning is restoration of what you have lost. So I tell myself, oh, this is really a big sign for me. Although I have built up this over the years, right? It may seem very big, and it seems like it's very difficult to really let go. Yeah, but if I were to start my own business and rekindle my own dream and passion, I will be restored. Yeah, so that is really the final push.
That was the final push for you.
That's the final push. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that weekend I go back. And Monday I tendered my resignation. I gave 3 months notice to my ex-boss, and I finished the year, and I left and start my own business.
Awesome.
And no looking back.
No looking back. No looking back. I mean, there's a lot of people who are in a maybe not similar situation, but a situation where they want to do something of their own, but haven't had that iPhone to tell them that they should go. What advice would you have for someone who is sitting on the fence about starting their own business?
Okay, so to me, I mean, we only live life once, and then if you don't try, you will never know. And if you don't take the first step out, it's like what is it? Vision without action is hallucination. Yeah, so it's always a dream or it's a hope or wish, if you don't really put action behind it. Yeah, it will never fulfill. Yeah. So for me, I would want to try, even if, let's say, I'm late for 15 years. Yeah, but I would still want to try.
Yeah, okay. And so that belief has to be quite strong?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
because it's the belief that shaped the action that shaped the outcome.
It's the belief.
Belief that shaped the action
Yep.
that determines the outcome.
Yeah, okay. That's very, very profound as well. Yeah, okay. And then for some people, though, like their belief is not that strong, right? They can be easily persuaded. How do you, build up that grit or that determination or that belief? Is there a certain thing that you would do or recommend for people to?
Yeah, I mean, keep talking to business people.
Right.
Yeah, keep surrounding by business people, or read, business books, from successful businessmen. Yeah, that will really strengthen, your belief and strengthen your confidence.
Is there like a particular, I mean, you said reading books is one thing. Is there any other particular routine that you think is really important for business people or people who want to go into business?
Yeah, I think for me, okay, so every morning, right, I will do a few things. Number one, definitely I will read something positive to start my day.
Okay.
Yeah, and secondly, I will exercise, so that I can actually, I believe that, mental health and physical health is the same. You must have a strong physical health so that you can have a strong, mental health. So these are the two things that I will make sure that I start my day with rest before, I get into like, the busyness of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so mental health and physical
Yes.
health is really important. And
Yep.
feed yourself first before you
Yes.
get into the...
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So then, so you finally handed in your resignation letter. You had 3 months off. What was the first thing? When did you actually start the AYP?
So it's an interesting story. So actually, I wanted to take a 6 months break,
Okay.
because I've been working non-stop for 15 years.
Yeah.
And I thought like, since it's a recession, I must as well take 6
You
months.
took some extra time off? Okay.
2009 is still
Yeah.
Asian, I think it's a global financial crisis, right?
Yeah.
So 3 months into it, right, I received, when I was eating bak chor mee, in the hawker center, then one of my good friend, which is the founder of Good Rich Global, is a wall covering, I think they sold the business already. So he called me and said, Annie, what are you doing? And I say, his name is Chong Beng, so I call him Ah Beng. Ah Beng, I'm eating bak chor mee. Then he said, what is it eating bak chor mee? Come, quickly start your own business already, I want to recruit people. Can you help me to do recruitment?
Right.
Yeah, so that afternoon I went to Accra to register my own business.
Straight away?
Straight away, yeah. And during that time, registration is still
Manual.
You still need to go to International Plaza level 5.
You still remember?
Yes, I still remember.
Big milestone day, right?
Yes, it's a big milestone day, and it's impactful day because when I start my business, most of the people will start like with a $1 paid up capital. It's quite common, right? But I straight away start with 100,000 paid up capital. Yeah, because I'm very determined to start the business, right?
Wow.
So I remember handling the check to the officer, and he was shocked when he see the 100,000.
Yeah.
He was shocked because normally people, will start with $1.
Yeah.
Yeah, paid up capital.
What was the date? What was this day? This is milestone
It's
day.
13th of March,
13th of March.
2009. Yeah.
13th of March. And you handed him the check.
Yes.
Did he have to go and get it confirmed with his supervisor or something?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
And so you were a CEO. You had to let go of the nice car and the 2 PAs, flying around business class, and you started up your own company. Was there a big transition between the two? Like, as a CEO, you're probably doing something very different than registering in Accra, going to Accra to register something, right?
Yes.
What was the transition like for you?
So, the first thing is the car. Actually, in 2009, right, although it's recession, but there's also opportunities. So when I, on a Sunday, when I open up the newspaper Sunday Times, there's a big page saying that you can buy this at that, you can buy this at that. Then I realized that there's this BMW 5 Series, brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah, at 90,000.
Was that your car?
Yes, then I
was.
bought that 5 Series. Yeah, mine was 7 Series,
okay.
so but I got a brand new 5 Series, not bad. And then it was, the COE was all-time low. COE was $5,000.
Right.
You cannot believe it. It's the lowest. It's one of the history, $5,000. So I took the opportunity. I bought that car.
Yeah.
So that was that car. And then I can share with you one joke about I tried to book a trip, with my husband. Normally when I go on trip, right, even like my own holiday, I'll get my PA to book for me. So PA will book everything. Yeah. So I booked that trip. I told my husband, I said, don't worry, Jacob, I'm very confident I can do it. So I booked that trip. And then on that day, I went to we were so happy, bring our luggage, to the airport. So we wanted to maybe go to the lounge and all this. So we go earlier to the airport. So it was 3 hours. Then the airport counter said it was to Krabi. Mm-hmm. So the counter person said, I'm sorry, Then I said, oh, no need to be sorry. We know we are a bit early. We can wait, for a while. Then he said, no, your flight flew off yesterday. Yeah, so I was so disappointed because I booked a flight to Bangkok. Then I need to change. I thought oh shit, I need to change the hotel and everything and all this, right? So I was so upset with myself, yeah.
But that's not what you're normally doing, right?
Yes, I never do that before. This is my first time. I thought I will do it properly, but I didn't know that I screwed everything up. Yeah. But thank God that, they actually changed everything for me. The Bangkok Airline was very, very nice. They changed everything, the hotel, everything they changed for me.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay. So it was salvaged
I still managed, to go.
To go on the trip. Yeah. Okay. And then so You registered your company with $100,000
Yeah.
paid up capital. Very, very uncommon. Most companies, when they're starting up, they start up at home on the dining
Yeah.
table, in the bedroom.
Yes.
How did you start? What was that
Okay,
like?
so I started by renting a service office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Straight away?
Straight away.
With the
in-
$100,000, right?
Yes. Yeah, so I straight away rented an office at Suntec.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew. Actually, the recession in Singapore is very short lived. Yeah. So our business was so good, that we actually grew within like 6 months. We moved to a permanent office. We rented a place in OCBC, Tower
Right.
Center, So so we actually grew quite fast. The first couple of years was very, very good for us.
And so you went and got an office space,
Yes.
serviced office,
Yeah.
For yourself
For myself, and then I hired 3 other people
Straight away?
on day one. Yeah, straight
day
away.
one?
Yes.
Did you take some people from GMP?
No, I didn't take anyone from GMP. I actually hired from my competitor.
Did you? Is that a tip? Okay, so you hired a couple of people straight away on day one, as a information, I guess, to potential founders, right? What are some of the first hires that you would recommend?
I think first hires would definitely, I think should be sales. Yeah, salespeople.
Okay.
Yeah, because if there's no sales, there's nothing, you could do. Yeah, so definitely sales. If let's say, unless you're in tech, space, so probably you want to hire your tech guys, your CTO as well. Yeah. So unless you can code, yourself.
Yeah.
If not, then I think you probably need to have a good tech team. So sales and marketing and tech will be my first focus.
First hires, yeah. Okay. And then throughout your journey so far, with your own company, that is, did you make any like really exceptional hires, and did you make any really bad hires? What was that like?
Yes, I will start with the bad hire first.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think in 2014, so I was so desperate really to grow my recruitment business in the banking and finance sector, because I am not familiar from that sector. I'm stronger in the manufacturing, and maybe
Right.
technology sector,
I
not
see.
so much in the FSI. So I hired, and that time, Singapore government is to really grow the wealth management in Singapore. Yeah, so banks are really hiring bus loads of like private banker. So I thought, this is a good opportunity. However, I don't have the network, the contact to any recruiter in this industry.
Yeah.
I chanced upon someone, who end up like being a crook lah. Really, I lost a
He
lot
was
of
a what,
money.
sorry?
A crook.
A crook?
Yes. So he kind of like built $1 million of billings,
Yeah.
However, he didn't send out to the client. Yeah, so those are all fake invoices.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did you find out?
Because after a while, he said that they need 6 months notice. So this guy will only be able to tender 6 months later. So when we nearing to 6 months, then he said that the company counter offer this person, so this person cannot start. So this whole thing just roll and roll. Yeah, this lie just roll and
Just
roll.
kept going.
Yeah, just keep going.
Wow. And how long did that last?
About 1 year.
A year?
Yes, a year.
And so, you said you were really desperate at that time. Did you pay like above the normal wages to get him on board?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as a mistake, right?
Yeah, it's a big mistake. Yeah.
Big mistake. And how much did that cost you?
It cost me about 800K.
What?
Yes.
800K?
Yes, 800,000.
In his salary?
His salary, and also including the invoices that he say he will bill, but
Yeah.
end up he didn't bill, and he also hired a few researcher.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a bit costly, right? Of
Yes, it's a very
hiring the wrong
costly.
person.
Yes. Hire the wrong person would be a very costly mistake.
Okay, and then what about the exceptional hire? What did this person do for you?
Yeah, so now this lady is my GM, so I hire her as a fresh graduate, but she really, I guess it's really like, she resemble maybe me like last time in GMP, right? So she started, with me as a fresh graduate and she really rose, and she's now my GM. She take care of like my P&L for me. Yeah, and she's really very, very, she will look after the P&L and she spent every single dollar like, her own. Yeah, and she will take care of like all the business, the client, the BD, the marketing. She kind of like, and management of the people. For me. Yeah.
Right. So is she your goddaughter now?
Sorry.
Is she your goddaughter now?
Yeah, there was this time. There was this time I traveled with her to, I can't remember, maybe Indonesia or Malaysia. So we cleared the custom, right? So I cleared first, and then she go after me. Then the officer asked, "Is that your mom?"
She asked her.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So right now, I mean, like you said that you hired a fresh graduate. Is that part of your hiring process now, or if not, what's your hiring process like now to make sure you weed out some of the crooks and you get more of these exceptional hires? Yes. What's that process like?
So when I hired my GM, that time we were just like about to recover. I mean, still nursing from that wound, that we had, right? It was like 2016 that I took her in. Yeah. So we really don't have the budget. So I have to get a fresh graduate,
right?
Yeah, to help me. But right now, we don't just go for fresh graduate. I think right now our focus a lot is really like, number one, we look at really the culture fit, because if the culture fit is not there, it's going to be very, very, very difficult. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like integrity is one of my important values, so that's how we use this benchmark to kind of sieve out people who are like crooks or people who really doesn't fit into the culture.
Right.
Yeah, so that is one very, very important thing. Mm-hmm. The second thing is really drive.
Okay.
I find that if, let's say, there's no passion, there's no drive, it's very difficult, to be successful. I don't want to every time, nag at someone, and push, the person is very, very tiring if the person is not independent.
Yeah.
Right. So the third thing is what we look for is track record. Yeah. Is there any successful track record previously? Yeah, that this person has demonstrated, in his or her course of work. And this track record doesn't mean that it has to be work. It can be if the person is a fresh grad, it can be during the school days. Like
extracurricular activities, things like that.
That's right.
Just to show that they're capable of something or achieving something.
Yep, that's right.
It's very different to what recruitment or I guess hiring used to be like, right? It used to be like, show me a piece of paper.
Yes, your resume,
and now it's hiring based on their integrity.
Yes.
Right. And
the culture, the values. Yeah. So we ask a lot of behavioral questions, rather than the last time is like, share me your experience, or talk about your last working experience. How is it like?
Okay. And so you say culture is quite important at your company, right? Like, how do you, I guess, shape the culture in your company, and how do you keep it running, right? Because, sometimes if your company is very large, and I'd imagine yours is quite large, making sure that everybody adheres to the same vision, mission, and values, everybody, demonstrates the same thing is quite difficult to control, right? How does that work at AYP?
So I do believe in a few things. Number one is I believe that 1% vision, 99% alignment. So alignment is actually a constant process of like, you really need to make sure that every single person understand your vision, understand, what are your culture, what are the values that you can tolerate, you cannot tolerate. And culture or values is actually behaviors, right? It's not something that you put on the wall or something that you put on your performance appraisal or whatever. It's really something that you need to, it's a daily thing that you need to demonstrate. So for us, our values are like of the we have 5, values: passion, collaboration, commitment, integrity, and value creation.
Right.
So everything that we do, right, we must demonstrate these. So how we do is that recruitment, we use this. So we ask behavioral questions surrounding these 5 values.
Yep.
Then in our appraisal, we use this. When the boss appraise the subordinate, the boss will kind of like assess the person's behavior in these 5 areas. And every month we have this employee of the month, which is nominated and voted by the peers.
By the peers, okay.
Yes, and every month we showcase one value. Like for example, the coming month is for commitment. So you vote for your colleague that demonstrate commitment in this whole entire month, and
I
this person
see.
become the employee of the month. So that's
see.
how we kind of acknowledge.
Yeah. That people are demonstrating
Yes.
and adhering to these
Correct,
core
correct.
values.
Yeah, and if let's say they don't in the course of work, right, then we will give warning or we reprimand them. We talk to them, and we sometimes terminate them. Yeah, as well. If let's say they constantly breach, that value.
Yeah, okay, like a couple of strikes and you're out
Yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Okay, and you said that alignment is a constant thing. It just makes me think about, my old boss and mentor said the same thing, right? But the analogy he gave was driving a car. He said, like, if you're driving a car and you keep your hands off the wheel, you don't know if you're still on the road. If you look at it later, 10 minutes later, you could be in the gutter, right? But if you keep your hands on the wheel, you're able to always realign and make sure that you're going in the right direction, right? So I totally understand where you're coming from, why it needs to be a constant thing. But is that something that is replicatable across the region and or different cultures, do you think?
Yep. We can, it can, yeah. So what we do is that number one, we do daily huddle. Okay, so every day, every team, every member, do a stand up, like very quick, 15 minutes the most, a huddle, and we talk about like what was our accomplishment on the previous day, and then what are the metrics, how much have we done, and then the second round we go like what are the priorities that you have, for today, and what are the hurdles that you need, people around you to help you with. Yeah. So we do that every single day so that everyone in the team understand like individually what they are doing.
Yeah.
Then the second thing is that we have one-on-one. So the manager and the staff will do a one-on-one weekly just to check in, like, where are you on your rocks, on your KPI and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Then we had a monthly alignment meeting. Yeah, so all the managers, they used to fly down, all the country managers fly down to Singapore for a 1 full day of learning and problem solving.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now we do it via Zoom.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the alignment. We want to make sure that it's actually cascade across all the country.
Yeah.
And what else we do? Of course, the strategic quarterly review. We review every quarter. So we constantly align. Yeah.
Okay, and then so when you're constantly aligning, I guess this makes things a lot easier for you to gather information, so you have a good pulse of what's happening in the company. But you said that also everybody flies in, but they're not able to do that now. Has it been hard for you to get everything aligned on the Zoom meetings? Because I mean, your particular industry is very people orientated, right? And now you can't be in touch with them live. What's that? What's that like?
So when we come to like this monthly alignment, we used to do 1 full day when they are in Singapore, when we can meet face to face. But right now we do half a day. Yeah. So, but if they cannot fly, there's no choice. We still have to continue to do the Zoom. But come to like local teams, right? So we used to do Zoom, and we realized that there is actually communication, breakdown and service lapse when we do Zoom. Yeah, so right now what we do is that we actually come back on a rotational, basis, because a lot of times I realized that work from home, I think 100%, right, is going to be a long-term problem. Yeah, because I think a lot of relationship is still built based on like physical meeting and talking, right? Or innovation ideas can be actually discussed and all this. Yeah, so 100% to work from home, right? I don't think like collaboration, innovation, can be can be improved.
Yeah.
So we are bringing them back like on an alternate week basis.
Okay.
Slowly.
I see. And so aside from the alignment meetings and things like that, has your business been impacted by the pandemic at all?
Actually, thank God, my business has not been impacted. In fact, we have a small growth.
Right, okay.
Over the last couple of months, because I think we pivoted our business about 3 years ago.
Right, okay.
So
you saw the pandemic happening.
No, I didn't. I've always wanted to really transform, the business and grow, the business, right?
Yeah.
So I realized that recruitment business, it's very, very hard to grow because of it's very consultant reliant.
Right.
So when you have like more assignments, you need more people. So I find that business is not so scalable. I want to go to a business whereby my efficiency, my productivity is not subject to like, more people, because that will reduce my productivity.
Right.
So 3 years ago, we made a conscious effort to build our recurring revenues.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now we are only in the recurring revenues business. Yeah, so that's why, when we build up the base, right, any growth will become just incremental. Yeah, so we already like go past our break-even point. So every month, right, we step into a month confidently, like this month we will be profitable. It's just how much profit we make.
Straight from the beginning. Yeah. Okay. So that's so you're doing recruitment now as well as digital?
I don't do recruitment anymore. I quit. I exited the recruitment business.
Wow,
because
okay.
recruitment is not recurring. Recruitment is one-off. So when it's seasonal, when it's like cyclical, when there's a need, then there's a recruitment opportunity. So I find that business is not so scalable, and I need consultant to deliver the recruitment assignments.
Right. So it wasn't just thinking about finding things that are more scalable and recurring. You actually got rid of the recruitment side completely.
We need to self-destruct. Before other people disrupt me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, thank God that I self-destruct, 3 years ago.
Just self-employed.
Yes. It was a very, scary moment.
Right.
Because I got 15 years in recruitment plus another almost 10 years here, right? Like 23 years of recruitment.
Yes.
And overnight, you ask me to just stop this business. What can I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be very scary for a lot of people.
It was very scary then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
how did you kickstart this?
Okay,
you
so
you would have had that $100,000 in
So
starting capital.
it's already like long gone. With that like the bleed, right? The 800,000.
Of course. Yeah.
So at that time, we took up like some loans from the banks.
Okay.
Yeah, and fill up the gaps. Yeah, before my recurring revenues build up.
Yeah. And so what's the recurring revenue, I guess, platform or business that you have right now?
Okay, so right now we have like 3 recurring revenues. The first one we call Payroll Outsourcing.
Okay.
Yeah, so company outsource their payroll processing to us. The second one is we call it Professional Employer Organization, PEO. So it's like company when they want to expand in Southeast Asia, they don't have an entity and they find that setting up an entity is too slow or too expensive. They park people under us.
Right.
And until they find that they're confident, the business is big enough, then they set up their entity.
Right.
Yeah, and this is growing because of the pandemic. People cannot fly, but they want to they want to grow the Southeast Asia market. So that's what they do now.
Right.
The third one is actually my software business is subscription based. Yeah, so it's pay per user. So that is also recurring in nature.
Wow. So when you decided to, I guess, build the recurring revenue, decided to go digital, were all these things already in the plan, or what kind of guided you to come to these 3 different revenue streams?
Okay, so when we moved, into this recurring revenue, in fact, that time we only have one clear recurring revenue, which is the payroll outsourcing business. Because along the way, I bought a payroll outsourcing business.
You bought one?
Yeah, I bought one. Yeah, so I bought that payroll outsourcing because I really want to diversify from recruitment.
Yeah.
So I went into payroll outsourcing. So that one is a clearly recurring, revenue. So and the PEO business came about later on. it's quite aligned with like the contracting business that I used to do.
Yep.
Only that this one is more senior or more white collar. The other one is more blue collar.
Yeah.
And that we build up slowly. The other one is actually the software, right? So when I want to digitalize, about 5 years ago, right, I want to digitalize the business, but I don't know what to do. So I actually, go into a job board. I bought a job board.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I start to build that job board. It's called lifescienceboard.com.
Right.
Yeah. So that's my first move into digitalizing.
Digital. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So as we market, and develop that job board, then we realized that, wow, it's very difficult because it can only sell to the healthcare and life science industry.
Right.
So I learned something from EO, that you don't build a product or service that you can only sell to a village.
Right.
Yeah. So I find that, maybe this is not the right one. Yeah. And also that time I had a tender. So
Okay.
for payroll outsourcing tender, so we were using third-party software, and then and when I go put in the pricing, I realized that this $10 to the client, right? $7 for software, $3 for services. Then I said, oh shit, service is so cheap.
I need to be
software is so expensive. I should have built my own software. Yeah. So that's how chance upon someone that sold a software business to me, the payroll software. She doesn't want to commercialize it. She's almost like 80% done, and she said that you can take over,
Okay.
and you can start building on it.
Yeah.
Right? Then that's when I jump into HR software.
And did she, I know you wanted to go digital and do more digital revenue, right? Get more digital revenue. But what made you really decide that was the right thing for you? Like, because, sounds like just someone random came to you and said, hey,
Yes.
buy this off me. What made you hand over the cash?
I think it's really intuition, because for entrepreneur, right, it's really just intuition. You just feel so passionate, about it. And for entrepreneur, I think a lot of entrepreneurs are like me. We will spend our last dollar,
Right.
just to like make the idea work.
Right.
Yeah.
So
when
your
there's
conviction
no
to go
turning point,
digital was so strong.
Yes, yeah. For me, I believe there's no turning point, because if let's say you if there's always a safety net or turning point, right, it's very difficult for you to move forward. Yeah. So for me, I don't have a safety net. I just have to make it work.
Right.
Yeah.
And was it? I know you said you started thinking about it in 2015, right? But
Yeah.
was that always the end goal? What's the end goal for AYP?
Okay, the end goal is definitely we want an exit.
Okay.
Yeah. So the exit can come through like a IPO, or it could came through a M&A,
Right.
activity, or continue to really grow bigger. Yeah. So when I go into this HR software, I was thinking, if I cannot sell, I can still use, because we are payroll processing company, right? I need my own software. Yeah, so that's why I was so convicted that I want to have my own software, so that when I tender, I can control the pricing better.
I see.
Yeah.
So the end goal is to get a deal, get bought out, or M&A or something like you said.
Yes.
I see. And that was always like that from the
Yes,
beginning.
it's always, I think, I believe in beginning with an end in mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But the digital part just happened because of, I guess, the natural trend in business and where the world was going, right?
Yes, correct. In order to scale and to have a sustainable, business, I think, digitalization is really the way to go, lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even all my PEO or my payroll outsourcing business now is powered by our own technology.
Wow.
Yeah, to provide the services better,
Yeah.
different, from our competitor.
Wow. Okay. So now you're an expert in tech. But you've
I'm
got
trying
you've got three different revenue streams, right? All in the tech space. It's amazing. But there's a lot that we could go through as well. I don't know if this is something that you'd be willing to share, but like, are you on track to getting close back to the 100 million? What's that kind of like for AYP at the moment?
Currently, we are, 20%, on
20
our target. Yeah.
Okay, do the
yeah.
calculations in my head. Okay, nice. That's really good to hear.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
is your
But
own
the
company, right?
momentum is, the momentum is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
It's
momentum is there.
fantastic.
The growth rate is there. So I believe that we will reach there pretty soon.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Congratulations. I'm
Thank
really
you.
happy for you. But as a final thing, right? So on CEO's Confess, there's a lot that you've already shared. But as a final takeaway, as a CEO of your business, what's the one thing that you would confess to as being the secret to your success?
Okay, so I think, the one thing really is that when you're running your own business, for sure, okay, there will be a valley that you need to go through. It may not be just one valley, it may be a couple of valley before, you reach your destination. So the only way to go through the valley, right, is to get through it the hard way. There's no easy way out. Yeah, because I've tried the easy way out, which is, I took up loans, from the bank. And the moment I took up the loan, it just go into the business and just disappear like that. Yeah, I realized that. Then you don't look into the efficiency, the productivity of your business. So right now, we don't do that. We want to make sure that our balance sheet is strong. We really look into like the efficiency, the productivity of the business. Yeah. So the only way to get through is, the only way is to get through it.
Get through it just
Yes,
through determination
yes.
and
Yeah,
grit.
the hardship. Yeah, the hard way.
The hard way. Awesome. Great. That's a nice little takeaway to finish this off. Thank you, Annie, for joining us today on CEO's Confess.
You're welcome.
And I'm sure there's a lot of insights that the audience can get from your experience. And thank you for today.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Now, I hope you found that insightful and entertaining because I know I did when I conducted the interview. Now, if you haven't done so already, we also exist on Facebook and LinkedIn. So do try and find our page and give us a follow so that you can keep up to date with anything new that's happening with us. And until you see us in the next video or see me in the next video, I hope you have a great day and I wish you the best. Jikoi out. Peace.